Hi, you're listening to the Flow State Fishing Podcast.
What do you mean?
There's fucking 2 Sheilas in a boat.
Right, Bono Atmos. We are brought to you by Rod Armour. High quality protection for your rods and reels, as well as plenty of accessories. Get to www.rodarmour.com. Suss the boys, great fellas, great local company. We are also brought to you by Evertread. Fully customizable, non-slip EVA foam matting. Multiple applications, most commonly used on boat flooring and cast decks. Absolutely amazing stuff. Get to www.evertread.com.au. And shouts to Fibre Finish, your one-stop composite shop for everything from boat rebuilds to resin art. Get to www.fibrefinish.com.au or drop into the shop in Townsville. We are also brought to you by castmag.co. High quality content creation, high quality apparel, as well as cast tackle. We're talking pop tier drop poppers, stick baits. We're talking jigs, decoy terminals. It's all there. Get to the website, www.castmag.co.
Okay, welcome to another episode of the Flow State Fishing Podcast. It's Mick Guthrie here, taking over from usual host Wade Kelly. This one's a little bit different actually because it was recorded in the middle of the Red Sea on a recent trip to Sudan that myself and Buster was fortunate enough to be on. If you haven't seen the films that have come out from that trip, do yourself a favour, check out the Cast Mag IGTV for Destinations episode number 2. It was a hell of a lot of fun. That trip was absolutely mind-blowing. I still am pinching myself that I actually got to do it. And if anybody ever gets a chance to go and visit Sudan at some point in the future after all this coronavirus stuff dies down, then I would highly, highly recommend it. It's absolutely amazing. But anyway, on to this chat. It's basically a quick catch up and a bit of a rundown of the last 4 or 5 years of one of the guides' lives. His name's Brent Poultney. He's a 27-year-old South African guy who spent the last 4 or 5 years guiding people around the African continent, including countries like Djibouti, Tanzania, Cameroon, and Sudan. He's an absolute legend. I can't state that enough. I was fortunate enough to spend 12 days with the guy, and the majority of those days I spent with him walking the flats, and I learned a lot about him. We developed a really good friendship, and maybe one day we'll get him over to Australia and show him what we have to offer, especially on the flats over here. He was frothing for that. But this chat includes a lot of talk about triggerfish, tigerfish, setting up camp in the middle of Cameroon in amongst the lions and monkeys and all sorts of shit like that. And obviously a fair bit of in-depth chat about his work developing or helping to develop a fishery for massive Nile Perch. They're an XL barramundi. They're basically a barramundi on steroids. They grow to 200 pounds, and these guys have been catching them at night on fly. And the stories that were getting bandied around at the dinner table every night about these fish and others were just absolutely mind-blowing. So I had to sit him down for half an hour, 45 minutes and sort of pick his brain so that you guys can get a little bit of an insight into what we heard and what we talked about every night, having a few beers anyway. So like I said, the guy's a legend. If you want to follow him on Instagram, his tags are at the end of this podcast, so listen out for them. And he's a complete open book. If you reached out to him and asked him any questions, I'm sure he'd oblige and get back to you. But yeah, without any further ado, Brent Poultney and myself in the middle of the Red Sea. I will apologise, there's a slight background noise with the generator that we had to keep going on the mothership. But other than that, sit back, relax, and enjoy. So, we're over here in Sudan.
Yes, Sudan.
I'm here with Brent. He's a guide from African Waters. I've been lucky enough to spend, probably the last, 9 days now?
Yeah, I think it's 9 days.
Yeah,
I'm losing track.
Yeah,
I think
same.
It's 9.
We're 9 days deep into an exploratory trip. And to be honest, it's blown my mind. It really has. Like, I was nervous as fuck to come here.
Yeah, I mean, I also didn't really know what was expecting or
there's been an exploratory, but we didn't really know what was going to happen when we got here. So I was also super excited.
Oh, definitely. Like I had obviously never met you before this trip.
Yeah.
I had never met Nicola. I suppose to put it in a bit of context, we're here with there's myself, Ben Jones, the other owner of Cast.
Yeah.
And then we've got John B and his filmer Alex from America. And we're the only four that knew each other. So we came here, we were supposed to be here with Captain Jack.
Yeah. He didn't
fucking
make it.
Bailed on us.
He left. I don't know where he's gone.
Cock.
Fuck.
Yeah. So he had some passport issues, but...
Bloody South Africans,
yeah, that's it. So anyway, we arrived on the boat, we met Brent, we met Nicola, and obviously we set sail a day after we were supposed to, because we were waiting for some diesel.
Fuel problems, third world country, one of those things.
Yeah. In saying that, though, third world country, like, is something, when we got to the airport, it was like a whole different world for us.
Yeah.
It's probably something you guys are used to, especially yourself with the amount of travel you've done in Africa. But for me, it was like a whole fucking different world.
Different planet,
Yeah,
I think, it's my first time ever coming here as well. You don't know what to expect, and it's my first time to a, Middle Eastern country almost, and, it's fantastic. I think, you always hear the hype in the media and everything, and then you get here and you're like, well, this is actually super chilled, and everyone's super friendly.
Yeah, it's
and they've just got a little bit different way of doing things, but I think it's seamless almost in everything you do.
Yeah. It was sort of like, I won't lie, I was shitting myself to come here.
Really?
I was shitting myself. I could not tell enough people that I was going to Africa. I'm shitting myself. I'm so nervous, but I was equally excited.
Yeah.
But the thing that I picked up as soon as I got off the airport, like, everyone's happy, smiling,
super
laughing,
stoked, they wave,
they're helpful, and like 15 blokes riding in the back of a ute.
Yeah,
like,
they're just waving, and oaks are like, hey, and they've got the craziest decorations inside the buses. It's fantastic. Yeah. Playing their music, and they're all just keen to show you their culture, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So.
And the other thing that was interesting too, when we spent the first night on this boat in the port, I was stunned at how everyone just comes down to the port with their plastic chairs.
Yeah, it's so funny. They just kick back, relax, let's just check out the diving boats and the fishing. Like, that's their shit. No, we're just going to do our shit and talk about the day's proceedings.
Yeah, they're just sitting there chilling. There's like men and women there hanging out together. And
no, it's
people
crazy.
Swimming.
Getting their feet wet, and that's their version of, a chilled night. There's snooker tables and a whole bunch of shit going on. But
you take life in a first world country for granted.
No, for sure.
Really
I mean, there's the little things that make someone's day, and they're just happy with little things.
That's right.
To see.
Yeah. And speaking about amazing shit to see, you've had a bit of a wild ride, man.
Yes.
Like, how old are you now? 27?
27.
Yeah. Actually, you had his birthday on this trip.
Yeah, it was a good little birthday with the boys. It was really nice. Yeah.
So, originally from South Africa?
Yeah, originally South Africa.
Obviously, school and all that boring shit out of the way?
Out of the way, did my studies, and then decided to run around Africa a little bit and do some guiding. So, started in Lesotho, and then went to Tanzania, then Sudan, and then Cameroon. So
And is that all with the one company?
All with the one company, So it's been a hell of a journey, and such a cool company to grow as a guide. Very, very cool environment, and the friends you make along the way is you become best buddies with the situations you're thrown into. And I mean, Cameroon this year was off to a hectic start when I cut my leg on a glass table and had to have 3 layers of stitches in the clinic. So there's those little things
in
along
Cameroon.
the way. In Cameroon,
Can imagine
the first day, first night, boom, on a table, like bleeding everywhere, fantastic.
Unreal.
But I think it's just such a privilege, and I think that's why we all immerse ourselves in this, is because of the places you get to see. I think for us it's just such a privilege going to these wild places and seeing the things we do, and creating a memory bank of crazy shit.
So it's like blokes like you guys are like, because I've only really started doing it in my 30s.
Yeah,
Like in my 20s, I was family and sport and all that sort of shit. And then once I got through that and got into starting cast and going down that journey, doing it a lot more intensely, it's something that I just need to have it in my life.
Yeah.
And obviously you've been doing that for a long time. The thing that interested me the most, actually, when I first heard about you before this trip was, I think it was Cameroon. Is that the Nile Perch?
Yes, that's Nile Perch. Yeah.
People in Australia will froth on that.
Yeah, lose their mind.
Yeah, tell us a bit about that, because obviously the barramundi's a massive fish in Australia.
Yeah, I
Nile
mean,
Perch similar.
them, I've seen both of them before, and I've been like, wow, I really want to catch both of those fish, and hopefully one day the barramundi. But I think just from a wild place perspective, it's very, very new, and we only ran our second season this year, so it's very, very new in the fact that we're still exploring both concessions, and we have 60 kilometers in each of the concessions, so they're vastly different but on the same river, and have huge Nile Perch in it. So we think we've got a formula down with the moon and that and how they feed and fishing at night, but it's something totally different because you are fishing at night. You know, you've got all the African animals going off around you at night time, so your senses are heightened, and then you're trying to still catch a fish, so you're trying to concentrate. Meanwhile, there's a fucking lion going off in the background and hippos like busy in front of you, so it's crazy.
And it's not just fishing at night either, it's fly fishing at night.
Yeah, it's fly fishing at night, so you'll go there 4 o'clock in the evening, go and check out where, position yourself, check out the river, try and make a mental map of what you're fishing, and then as that darkness drops, it's like pitch black. You can't even see your hand in front of your face, and you're just hurling feathers into the darkness. It's like, it's crazy. I mean, and then you get this huge hit at the end of your line. You get such a fright when it happens. It's just like, because you just like concentrating, and then just boom, and the fish is on, and then like headlights go on, and like it's just a whole nother game. Like
it'd
you're
be
running
fucking
on
mayhem.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah, because everyone like in Australia who's caught barra would know what that feels like, to get that
slam, and it's like, like we're on here, like boom. And it just so it's crazy. And to think, I mean, if you go there and you see the size of the river, you can literally cast a fly line across it, no problem. But there's 200-pound fish that live in there, so it's just like, it's hard to wrap your head around it as to
how big do these things get.
So they found one that had gotten stranded, obviously dying, and it broke, it maxed out 100 kg hunting scale.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, so it was over 200 pounds. So there was...
It's 100 kilogram barramundi, basically.
And its tail was still hanging on the floor, so it was probably over 200 pounds. Yeah, incredible, crazy African massive fish. Like
I actually had no clue they got that big.
No, it's disgusting. Like, especially in the river, like it's just...
How long is a fish that big?
It's probably like 180, 170. Yeah.
A 6 foot barra.
Yeah, it's a huge.
That's
huge
fucked
fish.
up.
Yeah.
So you've done 2 seasons there?
No, one. This was my first season, and then.
Take us through the setup, man. You were telling us about the camp and what you said.
So basically last year we were based out of a hunting camp, and it was a bit far from the river and not as intimate as we would have wanted it to be for the clients. So this year, we decided to set up a bush camp. So we basically went there 12 days early, found a spot, cut and cleared the bush, and then had to set up 4 tents, working toilets, showers, put a tank up in a tree, and we only had like 10 days to do it once we cleared the bush, so it was mayhem, and we had a photo finish the morning of, like literally like nailing in the last chairs and whatever, and tables and all that sort of shit, and then literally like had a quick shower, washed my face, put some clothes on, and the clients arrived. I was like, hello, welcome to camp, So it was like, holy shit, here we go, boys. So...
And how long do you live in somewhere like that?
We spent... Stu and Greg are still there, so they would have spent just 2.5 months. I just spent, over just a month and then had to come to Sudan for the South season.
So are they like? So the season is fully booked clients, just one after the other. Is that how it works?
It's not as regimented as other areas because of the moon cycle. So you have to plan the best fishing weeks how the moon to how the moon works, because if the sun sets and the moon set is only at 11 at night, it makes it the window is too big. So you want the sun to set and then the moon set like 2 hours later or 3 hours later, just so you know the fishing is not too spread out. Otherwise it becomes a bit ridiculous.
So you try and find that period of time where you got like a 4 or 5 hour bite window.
Yeah, exactly. But usually as you can literally, like, as that darkness sets in, literally as the sun drops, you get hits, boom, 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 and then it will go quiet, and then the moon will start going down, and as that moon set, boom, 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 that's when you're second, and literally as it goes,
like clockwork.
Like clockwork.
Yeah, that's
like
crazy.
clockwork. So I mean, it's actually more precise than we think. And we've seen perch in the day. Had a couple of big ones caught in the day. I think Stu caught 120 pounder. Was the first one he caught. In the day at like 8 o'clock in the morning. On fly. So fucking crazy. And I mean, we threw lures and stuff like that for them. We caught one perch in the whole week. And then went with fly, and it changed the game. They respond a lot better to the fly. I think they, a lot more aware of their surroundings than we think they are. Visually really good. They pick up vibrations easily. So maybe it's an overstimulation.
Could be too. They want a subtle presentation.
Yeah, exactly.
They're sort of for anyone that doesn't know what they are, they're basically just a muted barra. They're huge
bucket mouth. They look very, very, very similar. They're very structure orientated.
Same eyes.
Same eyes. They suck in the fly. Not very hard to hook, but once you've got one on, because of all the rock and you get freshwater mussels and clams there, they can cut you off. So there's that aspect of it.
There's a guy actually in Australia at the moment who's doing it a lot. Surface frogging. With flies.
That's amazing.
For barra.
That's incredible.
In the dams. I'll show you some footage when we get back to Port Sudan.
Please.
But he sent me some footage before he released it. And I just fucking
drives you, man. Like, because
there's
I could kill for surface. Like,
Do the Nile Perch hit surface?
We haven't tried much surface, but we also have, and they haven't really responded well to it. They really like it when you're fishing ledges and the fly, as it pops up the ledge, almost like a bait fish escaping. Then they tend to pounce on it, but it's more intermediate than sinking lines, just because you can pull it up that lip in that manner, and then they just jump on it. So
this frogging stuff is fucking they're waiting for fish to tail in the shallows.
Okay, wow, and then they
presenting it, and then they bow wave to it, and
that is unbelievable.
It'll blow your mind. I'll show you the footage.
Yes, I have to see that. I really, really have to see that. But I think, also with these fish, is often you'll hear them feeding at night. Which is a crazy thing to experience. You hear like these boop, boop, under the water, even under your feet, because there's caves that go under your feet. And you feel the vibrations through your feet.
Similar to barra, actually, but obviously not as big. But you can hear barra
going off.
There was one. I can't remember whether I was telling you or not. We filmed something in the Northern Territory in Australia. And we were watching a barra come in on a lure, and it tried to implode on it. And you could hear it go.
Like that crazy sound. But what's really cool about, I think, the river, the Faro River, is that it also has, great day fishing for tiger fish and barbs and yellowfish and that sort of thing. So it's almost like it's too much for the fishermen, even, because the days you can get lost in and it's crystal clean water. In the African river, it's almost unheard of. So you're hunting these fish like that in the day, and then you got to get your mind right to go and tackle it, monstrous thing at night.
When I saw the photos of them, when we were leading up to this trip, I was just like, fuck, where to next?
Man. I mean, it's certainly the most crazy place I've ever been. And wild place, I think. It's just you're in the middle of nowhere.
right in the middle of the African.
It's just incredible.
Yeah.
Like, there's no fences.
Yeah.
Bird species are incredible. There's monkeys everywhere. It's just so diverse in life, and it's rich. It's incredible.
You got yourself in a good position, man.
No, shit, I'm super privileged, and it's been a fucking crazy journey.
Yeah. Some of the stories I've been hearing over the last week, man, is just fucking crazy.
Like, it's ridiculous. From nearly being eaten to crocodiles to, you know, there's the list is almost endless. They always tell us, like, close family friends and friends of ours always tell us, you know, we need to write a book. And so maybe one day we'll put pen to paper, but we'll see.
You're part of something special, man, seriously.
Yeah.
Because fucking, I remember the whole South African sort of thing, you know, and the exploration of like Seychelles and Cosmo and all that sort of stuff like that gets people's attention. Yeah. Not just fly fishermen. Like, I'm only new to fly fishing maybe like 4 or 5 years. Yeah. Maximum. Probably 4 years. Yeah. And I've just fallen in love with it, but it's more the adventurous side of things.
Yeah, I mean, you get a huge array of what I call, you know, the types of fishermen. Like some guys are there for the big fish. Yeah. Other guys just go there for the leisure and they want to chill out. So, you know, what's nice about fly fishing is there's always a place that can cater for, you know, people.
Whatever you want to do.
But I love being on the cusp of finding something new or seeing something new, because, you know, it's almost like a modern day exploration.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And you know, it's just seeing stuff from a different perspective, and it almost becomes addictive. Like, once you start getting a taste for it, you just want the next thing and the next thing, and then when you have time off at home, you literally sit for a week. And you're like, holy shit, what do I do with my life? I can't sleep at night. It's hectic because my mind's just like boom, boom, boom. So
I don't blame you. It's sort of like, I run a business as well, obviously, but part of that business is going on adventures and doing our own thing. And a lot of it, people don't understand unless you've got that mindset. Exactly. It's kind of like you sit there and you talk to your mates at home or you know, your wife or whoever, and sometimes you like blankly stare off into the distance. And you're fucking gone. You're on the next
in another planet. You're thinking of the next place or what you need to do the next time. You know. Yeah. But I think when we go home, it's just you're on an outside perspective of what everyone else is doing, especially like because they have their rhythm of what they do.
Yeah, that's right.
And as a guide, you go back home after 10 months of almost straight guiding. Yeah. And you actually have to force yourself to slow down or go into their pattern of life because you know, they have a regime like Monday to Friday work or whatever it is.
Saturday, Sunday.
So you got to immerse back into it. It's very difficult, but I mean, I think everyone should. It doesn't matter if you're going into the forests of West Africa or you're going on a hike, you know, close to home. I think everyone should just try and get out there and do something a little different.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I even just went on a jungle perch hike.
Yeah.
Have you heard of jungle perch?
Yeah, you showed me the so that was one of the coolest things.
Fucking cool, eh?
Like, just the scenery and everything looks amazing, man.
And that was something like, at the time we thought we possibly were some of the only people to look at that river, that stretch of river, because of the way that we accessed it.
That's amazing. That's incredible.
It's unbelievable. And it's sort of like, we thought, we're the only ones who've done this for sure. Like, and it was a fucking mission, bro.
Yeah, but that's like, you know,
camping in the trees and in hammocks and shit like that, and like that's the sort of stuff like that gives you the memories. And
exactly.
It gives you the drive to do the next thing, and
I
search for those opportunities. Yeah,
now. I mean, you know, it's. I've got memories from Cameroon and various other guiding things, and all of them have their own special. Like people often ask me, what's your favorite location? Where's your favorite place to guide? I think they're all super special and have their own unique ways of showing you amazing things. I mean, like Greg and I were stuck in camp. We had no vehicle, so we couldn't build camp. Yeah. So the anti-poaching boys like pulled up in their little motorcycles because they ride around with their little motorbikes, and they're like, do you want to go check out the river? So we like loaded up our 7-weight rods, jumped on the back of these motorbikes and drove an hour and a half on like dirt roads through Big 5 country. Like checking out amazing trees. Like stopped the motorbike, walked into the riverbed. We saw a spoor of impala, not impala, sorry, cob, which is a western antelope. And a giraffe and a whole bunch of leopard, lion in the riverbed. So you surround by all these creatures, and then you go and cast a fly, catch some tiger fish, hop back on the motorcycles and cruise back through the bush.
It doesn't even sound real.
No, exactly. I mean, having a laugh on the motorbikes, like trying to get up the hills with like 100 and something kilos on these funny little motorbikes was it's those type of memories that you look forward to the next time, because you never know.
What got you into it?
I got a bunch of mates that they started in the Seychelles, and they started a couple of years before me. But I went to high school with them, and then, they'd come back from their seasons, and they told me their stories, and I was like, I have to get out there, because if I don't, I'm gonna regret it for the rest of my life. I said to myself, fuck, I'm gonna just go out and go and check it out. Since then I've never looked back. It's just been unbelievable.
Why would you? What about Tanzania?
Tanzania is very close to my heart. It was my first proper guiding gig. Lesotho's where we kind of train, and it's really nice and super friendly. But
is that a country?
Lesotho, it's a little country, highland country inside South Africa. Its own kingdom still, so it still has a king. But super high mountains, and where we fish for yellowfish and brown trout. But it's dry fly fishing, super nice camp, cool accommodation, and we do all the cooking. It's a very farm style type fishing setup, very relaxing. So it's a nice platform to learn to guide in and deal with people. And then you start getting onto the bigger stuff. And once I went to Tanzania, and it was definitely one of those fish on my list to also go and see. And I went, my first tiger fishing experience ever, went to the best place in the world to go and catch, at the time, to go and catch tiger fish. And it just blew my mind to see these crazy rivers in the middle of Africa as well.
How long did you stay there for?
3 months was my first season. So you see crazy things, lions roaring outside your room, and crocodiles everywhere, and it's just fantastic. And also, you're there building camp, so you're surviving off beans and rice for 2 weeks first, and then you have to, keep yourself in the game there. But I think it's just such a special place as well, and I just reiterate why it's so important once we do discover places like this to set up conservation and make sure that we look after the fishery as best as we can, but we also try and promote and enable people to conserve these areas. Because once you're in Tanzania, you drive an hour and a half and you're in a village. So there's all these outside pressures that are slowly increasing as the people increase, and you need to make sure that you are anti-poaching is strict. You got to make sure you're maintaining everything. Otherwise, even in Sudan, you walk around on these islands and you just see how much litter there is. It's ridiculous. Fucking crazy, and you realize the pressures that are there. So as much as we're there, you've got to make sure we're looking after it as well.
100%. Most Aussies will know all about that. We have a lot of marine parks, and we look after our stuff as best as possible.
The way that you've been describing Australia has just been, I'm now attracted. I want to go and check it out.
For sure.
Freaking amazing.
Honestly, for the kind of fishing that you do and the type of stuff that you get involved in, you'd love like a place like Cape York or the Northern Territory.
I have to go and check it out.
I fucking love it, mate. Me and Benny have camped out on like these atolls. We've just camped out there for a couple of days.
That's crazy.
Fucking so good, man.
Yes.
It's exactly the same as this, really. Like, when I was doing some research on Sudan, I didn't realise that it was basically like the Great Barrier Reef.
Super extensive.
but deeper. It's fucking amazing.
It's
honestly.
incredible. Like so interconnected, and you forget how much coral there actually is.
Yeah.
And then it's crazy amount of stuff going on. You know, you've got fish everywhere.
Yeah. It's world class.
No, of course. I mean, the flats fishing is ridiculous, and because there's no tides, you don't know what you're going to expect. You know, walking with a 12 and a 9, and like you'll be casting to a triggerfish, and the fucking GT comes bundling down the flat. You're like, holy shit! And then you put that down.
Yeah.
You know, like yesterday, I mean, David and I went fishing. We're like, cool, we're gonna go for GTs and bigger fish now.
Yeah.
Leave our 9s in the boat like retards.
Yeah.
Like walk, get around, and we see like 8 permit. In the space of half an hour. Like try and set up a permit. We got a 12 weight, but it was just ridiculous, you know. And we didn't catch one, obviously. It's permits, but you know, like
they're the same everywhere, I think.
Cool.
No, it's sort of that's the interesting thing from my point of view, because in Australia, the tides are
that's what
big.
you base your fishing.
Yeah, that's right. It's sort of it's what allows you to become proficient in predicting when the bite periods, where the fish are going to be, what they're going to do at a certain stage of the tide, all that sort of shit. Whereas you come here, the tide moves like a foot.
Yeah, and you're like, oh. Yeah. And it's crazy. Man.
Yeah, and the other thing I found really bizarre was the tide moves like a foot, but there's current.
There's current.
Yeah. Like you come across this ocean current and you
and
just
it's
think,
just pumping, and you're like, where the
cooking.
hell is this coming from?
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
Like, what is this?
Yeah.
So it's
No, it's been a real eye-opening experience for me, because it's very similar, but it's very different.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Very similar species, very similar structure, environment, water, all that sort of stuff, but very different in that regard. Like it's almost like you're walking around a swimming pool, just like an aquarium, basically,
exactly.
trying to target fish.
And I think what's also difficult is like, you know, you'll have a blinder of a fishing day.
Yeah.
And then the next day you're like,
totally
okay,
different.
that's totally different. So that's what also makes it really special. Is you can really cherish those times and have amazing times. And when they are really good, like when they're good, they're really good.
Well, you and I had 2 or 3 days in a row.
That was just fucking crazy. I mean, we're seeing fish, catching fish, and we're literally. I mean, that one day when Ben was with us, like walking down the flat, literally caught a bluefin.
Yeah.
Had a shot at a GT, saw permit, caught triggerfish.
Yeah.
Like threw a popper at bluefin, ate them. Yeah. Then had another cast at a red bass or a snapper. Yeah. It was just going off, and like literally like 600 meters of you know.
That was one of the best days of my life fishing wise.
No, me too, and I was literally crazy. Like so special to be able to experience something like that.
I was fucking high on life.
No, I was just smiling. I was like, you know, and you just have butterflies from just experiencing such a cool day. You feel like a kid at a candy store who's just been given a massive lollipop. And like, I'm gonna walk down.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is. Hey, like I couldn't believe, like, you know, how close we were to those permit and the size of the triggerfish. Yeah. Like even that big one that I caught, like it came in from fucking just forever.
I know, and then just boom on. And then we saw that huge school of bumpies as well. Ben went out on the boat and had a shot at 4 sailfish as well.
Yeah.
So
unbelievable.
Yeah, just crazy. I think.
How many seasons have you spent here?
This is my fourth season in Sudan, but first time in the south.
In this area.
Yeah, in this area. The north area is very your quintessential flats fishing. Yeah. So it's like massive white sand flats, and you can walk for kilometers. Where this is a bit more programmed. You got these little finger flats on actual atolls.
And a lot of them you've never been to.
I've never been to any of these places. So for me, it's been really, really cool to come and check it out and walk and see and look and. I mean, what has really been different for me here, like in the north you'll get obviously like you'll walk and you'll see a GT coming and then you'll see triggers, and it's a lot more laboured in the way that the fish change. Whereas here it's a lot more dramatic. It's like permit, boom,
Yeah.
Then the snapper, boom.
Yeah.
Then the GT, boom.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
triggers, boom. So
Yeah.
you're just like, it's like, holy shit, where do I look? What
Yeah,
do I
yeah.
do?
Yeah.
Like, do I need to carry 4 rods?
Yeah, it's like that. I've been
So
trying,
it's
like, obviously filming some stuff too. So I've had like a 10 weight, a 12 weight, and my
Yeah.
camera.
Yeah.
And at some stage, I'm like, well, I've got to hold the camera to capture this
Exactly.
shit. And then massive triggers, GT. Like you think,
It's like,
fuck, what am I doing?
What
here?
am I doing?
It's too much
Like,
to do.
It's just like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's world class. Like
Yeah.
honestly, it's fucking amazing.
No, it's
I would have
incredible.
no reservations about recommending it to anybody. To
Yeah,
come here.
I mean, it's we're trying our best to try and get the place out there.
Yeah,
And obviously, like, the name Sudan carries
Yeah.
that negative connotation
yeah,
in a lot of people's minds
Yeah.
as to, you know, it's a dangerous place. And
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So I think, you know, if you speak to almost anyone, that's the general consensus.
Yeah.
But like, anyone who ever comes here is like, well, this is completely different to what we expected.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, that's
And
exactly right.
that's what we're trying to get out there, is
Yeah.
that there's this whole fishery in a completely different place and a completely different manner of saltwater fishing. Like you say, the species are similar, but the way you go about fishing for them and that sort of thing is just different. So I think there's a huge area for
Yeah.
working on. So.
yeah, definitely. Like we got bombarded with like memes and messages and all.
That's
sorts of
crazy.
shit,
You were
so,
telling me
like,
some of the stuff. And I was
Yeah.
like, holy shit. That's hectic.
Everyone in Australia,
Yeah.
obviously, like we have this travel website called
Yeah, yeah.
Smart Traveller.
Yeah.
You go onto Smart Traveller, and there's like 4 levels of, I suppose, information or status. So there's like safe to travel
Yes.
to, be careful,
Yeah.
and reconsider your need to travel, and do not travel.
Don't go there.
Yeah. So South Sudan is don't go there.
Yeah, don't go
And I
there.
was talking to Nicola. He's saying it's not dangerous. It's fucking deadly.
Yeah, no,
Like,
definitely. You
kidnapped
don't
and
go.
killed
You don't
and,
go.
yeah, it's
to
fucked
South
up.
Sudan.
So, and that's a totally different country.
Yeah, that's
It's a
what I
separate
think
country.
a lot of people confuse it.
Yeah.
They're completely separate.
Exactly.
Um,
But in our travel website,
yeah, it doesn't
says,
list it.
yeah, it
It's
says
only-
do not travel. It goes from Khartoum, which is the capital,
Yeah.
and west
Yeah.
into West Sudan.
Yes.
Do not go.
Don't go.
And from here up to Port
Upwards.
Sudan, it says reconsider your need to travel.
Yeah. So it's
Well-
like, how do you gauge that?
Yeah. It seems like it's a dangerous place, and then you arrive here and you go, "Fuck,
This
we might
is
as well just
normal.
be in
Everyone's going
Australia."
about, everyone's going on their normal daily duties, and
Yeah.
you're like, whatever.
Yeah,
And I think, you know, like a lot of people, like obviously social media and stuff hype up what's going on.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I mean, even last year when the presidential, like there was a takeover, you know, and the whole thing went down in Khartoum.
yeah,
Like people were sending us messages while we were here, like, holy hell, like we got like escape plans put in place, and we're
Yeah.
like, what the hell are you doing? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
there's nothing even going on in Port Sudan. It's
Yeah.
in Khartoum, the capital.
yeah. It's
So-
just ages away.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's just like, you know, and now it's finished. It was obviously
Yeah.
a horrible president that was in place, and
Yeah.
he came to the end of a 27-year reign, basically. So,
Yeah.
you know, and then generally, like when he did get taken out of his running, everyone was celebrating. Like it was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
new wave of happiness. The guys,
yeah.
the crew, and everyone was so happy, and like you really felt for the guys.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, it showed how much it meant to them. So, like for us, I mean, we've never ever felt in danger. I've never felt
Yeah,
in danger
yeah.
at one point. Like the guys and sitting and having lunch with the crew. And,
yeah, yeah.
you
They're
know,
all good
once
fellas.
yeah, they're such good blokes, and
Yeah.
like you have a chat with them, and they all have their little families
Yeah,
and their
yeah,
different side business when the season
Yeah,
is
yeah.
running. It's just, you know, it's
Normal
fucking
life.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
People are the same everywhere, man.
yeah,
far as-
exactly.
as what I
Everyone's just
can
got
tell.
their different hustle to make things
Yeah,
happen.
yeah,
you know?
that's
It's
it.
like, you know, so,
Yeah, that's exactly right.
yeah, it's really cool.
So where to next?
Got a little bit of a holiday, but might go to, well, we are going to Sri Lanka surfing
Yeah,
for
yeah.
one of my mates' birthdays, so that
Yeah,
should
yeah.
be quite fun to get the mind off of fishing for
Yeah.
a bit. But
Yeah.
then Tanzania again.
Yeah.
We'll kickstart with Tanzania.
Yeah, yeah. And you've been a fair few places around the world, haven't you?
Yeah.
Travelled a bit.
Yeah. Just got back from Argentina in December.
Yeah.
Fortunate enough, I got to fish for golden dorado and went to Jurassic Lake.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I ticked off a couple of big boxes there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I had some crazy fishing.
Yeah.
But yeah, always looking to to go and explore new places.
Yeah,
I've been to Europe a couple of times. And,
Yeah.
but it's always, you're always looking for that next adventure.
Yeah.
But for me, and also it's the people that make up the place, like,
Definitely.
or who you go with to experience the adventures, like. But it's also important to go with by yourself and just throw yourself into life's washing machine. You never know what you're gonna come across or experience, and it's good to do things on your own. So
Yeah, 100%.
yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, it's been like proper.
No, I can't wait for the next
pleasure.
couple of days
Yeah,
together.
man.
We
It's
still got
been
so much fishing. Man.
Definitely, and it honestly has been like a real pleasure hanging out with you for the last few days,
Yeah,
fishing,
it's been awesome,
memories and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
loads of memories, and I hope we do it again
man.
sometime.
100%.
We're gonna definitely plan and make a fishing trip in Oz happen, and hopefully some other crazy places.
Yeah, for sure. Now, if anyone's listening and want to contact you, Instagram.
Instagram.
What's your Instagram?
Brent is 12.
Brent is 12.
Yeah.
Alright, so when we promote this,
Perfect.
we'll promote it with that, and also it's African Waters, isn't it? You guys?
Yes, African Waters. Yeah. We've got a bunch of destinations.
Yeah.
We cater for a lot of people, so go check it out.
Yeah.
It's just at African Waters on Instagram.
Happy days, man.
Pretty easy to find.
We'll probably get you back for a group podcast.
Yeah, that'll be crazy. I want to get all the blokes there. We need some multicultural banter. So
it's pretty funny, actually.
That's crazy.
There's like us from Australia, John and Alex from America, yourself, South African, David from Spain,
and
Nicola from Italy.
So and a couple of the guys from Sudan. So it's just been a whole bloody
happy days, man.
Stew of life, basically. Fantastic.
Thanks anyway, man, for
It's a pleasure,
jumping on the podcast, and hopefully people find the story interesting. I'm sure they will.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, happy days.
Very cool.
All right, thanks, mate.
Cheers, eh.